Hello! Thank you guys for coming to this live stream today. I'm so excited. It's the Goguen watch party. We have not done a watch party since the Shelly Summit, and I suspect today is going to be as eventful, maybe even more eventful than the Shelly Summit. I'm really excited. There's already 94 people here. We have a little bit of 20 minutes to do an AMA. I have a little bit of content for you in the beginning. We got some Goguen news. Thank you guys for all coming today. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Click that notification bell, click all, and then type in the chat. You really do help out the live stream when you do that. We got a lot of people here. Patrick, Celtic, Luke, the drone guy, Adrian, Anthony. What's up, Anthony? Shout out to Anthony. He made the thumbnail today. AI said, we want Goguen news. That's what we're all here for. Adrian A said, you and Crow keep us up to date, and I wish you all the best. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. AI said, they want a yacht. I don't want a yacht, man. Screw that. Nakula said, what's up, Pay? What's up? G-Scans, what's up? Or G-Stands, not scans. Motivation Niche. Sassy Boy. Here, what's up? Yo. Tiago's here too. What's up, man? All right, so I got a little bit of content. Hold on, let me go to both. All right, so first things first, as always, if you guys want to support me, the best way you can do so is delegate to my pools Bloom. We have Bloom 1 through 6. 1 is currently saturated, and you will lose rewards if you delegate to Bloom by December 6th. So if you currently are in Bloom, please move over to Bloom 3, Bloom 4, Bloom 5. It's very important that you do that or you'll lose about 20 to 30% of your rewards. You don't have to lose any rewards to switch, and you also don't have to pay much to switch. It's like 0.28 to actually switch. And I also wanted to show you guys this. We're back! Bloom 3 is number 1! We had a really good epoch on Bloom 3, 105% luck. And we lowered the fees for anyone switching to the new Bloom pools, but we're number 1 on ADA pools. They normally hate us. But we're back. We're back. I'm happy about that. But yeah, that's really about it. Also, I do provide server consultation for specifically for stake pools. And I also build and run stake pools for you. So if you're interested in that, all you have to do is email me at peyton@bloompool.io. So let me switch back to the stream. What's up, everybody? What's up, your Cardano update? What's up, SoCal? Thanks for swinging by. Make sure you guys check out his YouTube channel, Your Cardano Update, one of the best Cardano YouTubers in the game. Gothi said, are we going to be watching Charles' video here? Charles may be here. This actually starts in about 15 minutes from now. So what we're doing right now is we're doing a little pregame hype warm-up. No, I just actually got back from the gym. That's why I'm pretty hyped up. I just finished my fast. I ate a little bit of food before I got on here, but I was fasting all night. I'm pumped. I got my Yoroi shirt on. My Yoroi crew neck. I'm too hype. I gotta settle down. But I want to show you guys something on Twitter. Let me make sure the audio is working. I got something's playing volume. I'm sure you guys heard that. I'm really sorry about that. Drone guy said, yeah, you pumped. Get off the testo, lol. It's that young man testosterone. I can't get off of it. Let me go through and close some things. I got some audio feedback. Did you guys hear that? Yep, episode's already demonetized 5 minutes in. I'm getting some audio feedback from somewhere. Really sorry about that. I just wanted to show you guys this video from my partner at Bloom, Anthony. He posted a video on Twitter yesterday that I really like. It's of his daughter, but I'm not sure where I'm getting the audio feedback from. Let me see if I can mess around a little bit. Are you guys getting that audio feedback? Oh yeah, we can hear it. Okay. I'll do some testing here. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's coming from. I guess I can go into Volume Mixer and see it. I know this is boring. I'm really sorry. I just wanted to show you guys this video. It's actually OBS. Yep, screw it. I can't do it. Make sure you guys, I'll post this link in the chat. It's hilarious. For whatever reason, I keep getting feedback. Oh, I may have fixed it. All right, cool. I think I fixed it. All right, we can watch it now. Sorry about that. I guess I have to fix it for the live stream anyway, so I might as well fix it. But now I can't hear it.
World art, right? We come to this page, right? Baby, who is that? Peyton.
I love that. I wanted to show you guys that, but we can go back to the AMA. It's probably one of your million tabs open. You're right. Hey, I said Baby Bloom saying, "Daddy, where's my ADA?" Yeah, Baby Bloom's definitely got some ADA saved up. Pat said, "Watch your ears." You're right, Pat. You're right. Watch your ears. Marco Santiago said, "Sounds good." Heck yeah. Kello Crypto said, "Let's get this party started." Oh, guys, I wanted to show you something I'm really excited about. Okay, so if we go to my YouTube channel, this is a pretty big deal for me. You know, I'm not sitting here with a million views, but I mean, to me, this is awesome. Look, we are at 4.96K subscribers. So I think that means we're only 40 away. Let's go to YouTube Studio and look. We are 37 subscribers away from 5,000. So if you guys are watching this right now, click that subscribe button. I think we may be able to hit 5,000 this stream. It's just a beautiful day all around. Let me switch back to just me, and we can go back. We can do the AMA. Okay. So I did get a super chat from Cardano Pizza Challenge. Hey, Big, last week you accepted the Cardano Pizza Challenge to help aid adoption. Do you have any updates on your progress? I do. So I've been kind of asking around. I haven't been doing just pizza. I know that kind of breaks the rules a little bit, but I have been doing... I have been calling around. What I was thinking about doing for the pizza challenge was doing a live AMA while I drive around and try to purchase it with the pizza. I mean, it would be a little cringy, but I think it would be fun. Just like an IRL stream. I would have to have someone recording me and asking questions and me answering them. But it would be just me essentially going around the big city that I live in, trying to essentially shill ADA on people for food. Thought that would be pretty funny. Simon Jones says, "Hello from rainy London." Hello, it's actually pretty snowy here. That's why you see that brightness coming in from the window back there. Yeah, it's I got snow on my roof. This is my first time getting snow in my new house, or my new apartment. I guess it's a house, but I don't own it, so it's kind of I don't know, it just doesn't seem... Tiago said, "Can't subscribe anymore." Dang it. Me either, man. I can't subscribe to myself. But it says there's 194 people here. I really appreciate you guys all coming. I can tell we're all hyped from Goguen. Make sure you guys click that like button, click that notification bell, and click all. It really does support my channel. It'll help more people actually find this live stream on YouTube. You guys are doing great so far. YouTube is loving it. We're already at 200 viewers. So that means this Cardano content is being pushed out there right now, because 200 viewers is a lot, especially for live concurrent viewers. YouTube's loving it. So keep it up, and we may be even able to hit like 400, maybe 300. That's what I'm thinking. We usually peak about 30 minutes in. Steven said, "Much love from California." Much love, man. Thanks for swinging by. I really appreciate it. Pa said, "Great shoe." Thank you. Great show. Andon said, "Great idea with the live." Yeah, no problem, man. I do like doing these watch parties. Like I said, the last one I did was in July. We did the Cardano Shelly Summit. It was really fun. The next the next one, I hope, the next summit, I hope I'm there in person and we can do a live stream in person. Maybe we could meet some people around there. How cool would it be to meet like Kaizen, Rick, and Philippe, during a live stream? It'd be pretty cool. Patrick just said, just subscribe. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I wish I could see like the live subscriber count. Nakala said, is this update big? I think it is, man. I think we're going to get a lot of Goguen news. Oh, I have something else to show you. So there's this feature on YouTube called Premiere, right? And what you can do is you upload a video, you do all the settings, and you schedule a time for it to come out. And then people can get on there and watch the premiere. So this was the image from the premiere. And it says the island, the ocean, and the pond. And it premieres today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, so look, it says Ouroboros, and this was what? Soon, ! Xbox Dev Unit. Developers, DevNet to mainnet. The island, the oleum, the pond. And then down here, so off-chain, unchain. This is getting pretty complicated, but I think it's pretty cool. And then right here, Cumwasm, Cumwasm, Cumwasm. And he's using some pretty colors now. Look, he's got a rainbow marker. Looking forward to that. But what do you guys speculate from the Xbox Dev Unit or even the Cumwasm? Thought that was pretty interesting. Oh, and this is the thumbnail today. Big shout out to Anthony for that. I really appreciate it. He always makes the most beautiful thumbnails. So let me go back to just me. Steve said $1 party. I hope so, man. Denny just super chat me $2, so it's a $2 party now. Thanks for hosting. No problem, man. Thanks for swinging by. I really appreciate it. John E. said, where do you get Cardano shirts? There's a link down below. It's an Amazon link. That'll take you to all the Cardano shirts I sell. I've been meaning to add more to that. Mach 2 Arrogant said, no pressure, Pay, but you better deliver today. Yeah, there's 220 people here, man. Now I'm ready to deliver. I have been fasting. Monday I did a 24-hour fast. Tuesday I fasted as well. And then today I fasted, and then I went to the gym. First thing I did when I woke up this morning, I went to the gym. I worked out. I went really, really hard on some cardio. And then I got out of the gym, got some real clean eats, some brown rice, some chicken, some guac, and some tomatoes. So yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm prepared. Thanks for the super chat, John Hamilton. You're the man for that. You always super chat me, man. I appreciate it so much. Tiago said, do you think they're going to release the Goguen testnet? I do. It's either going to be this month or next month, in my opinion. It has to be. Trizzle said, subscribe. Thanks, man. Let me see if I can look at a live subscriber count. I've seen a lot of people say that, so we might get it very soon. Live subscriber count. Okay, live subscriber count. Big Pay. Live. All right, so this is what we have on the live subscriber count today. So 4920. We can beat that. Okay, it's going up. Oh yeah, it's going up. Okay, 4970. We're definitely going to hit 5,000 today. Man, everything's just lining up for a beautiful Goguen day. All right, I'm coming back. Vancouver in the house. What's up, man? Thank you. What's up, Eye of the King? What's up, Mostradamus? I appreciate you swinging by. Peter, what's up, man? There are indeed exciting days ahead. CT the Guitar Guy. He's talked about Xbox before, making a comparison. How do they plan to make things happen? That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking like it was, for example, PS4, or not PS4, PS5 actually gave their devs the PS5 test model for developers way earlier than Xbox did. And I think that's why you have better optimization on the Xbox. So I think what he's doing is he's saying, oh, this is how consoles do it, and that's what we're doing. We're giving devs a test net to work, right? And then it'll all transition, right? AI said, hold your horses. You'll have 2 houses paid for with ADA. I don't want two houses, man. What I want is some land that I can hunt mushrooms on and go hunting on. I just would love that. You know, I live in the city. I have no land right now. In the 6 months that I've been here, I realized that I'm not a big fan of the city, especially during COVID. You know, everyone was telling me the city was beautiful before I came, but I came here in the middle of COVID for school, and everything was locked down. It was pretty depressing, boarded up, you know, with the riots and stuff. CT Dakar guy said, it's the 6th day of my water fast. I've never made it that far, man. Excellent work. Works, maybe even a little microdosing sunglasses. Little shroomy microdosing. Can we get some shirts today? Hell yeah, we can give out some shirts today. They released an article already saying the testnet will go live this month. Yeah, I figured it would. John Fox said, hello from Scotland. Hi, Felony said, I'm an XXL, please. What time are the new Goguen announcements? The new Goguen announcements start in 3 minutes, actually. So we're going to be finishing up here in a second. I am in Ha Long Bay. Where are you? I'm in Ohio. I put out a shout out on TV. What, for Cardano? Oh, a huge super chat from Cardano Pizza Challenge for $50. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate that. Cardano Pizza Challenge pays ADA for pizza only, bro. Lol. Approaching any business and creating ADA business adoption would be cool content to watch. Yeah, I know it's only for pizza, but I don't know. I'm trying all my resources here. Like I went to a Kratom shop and I asked them, because Kratom it's a drug. I think it's from some like Asian countries. It's just a plant that you drink. And I figured since Kratom has actually trouble getting bank accounts, kind of like weed businesses do, that they might be on the fringes and know a bit more about cryptocurrency. So I walked in there. I was like, hey, man, would you guys accept ADA? And they were like, no. And then I was like, well, would you guys accept Bitcoin? No. So. CT Descartes, I said, I have done 3 weeks water fast. That's crazy. Psychosis increases with population density. I'd see that. Love to hunt mushrooms in Central Virginia. For sure, man. I've gone through... Yeah, I would love to do that. Shroom hunting sounds crazy. No, not shroom hunting, just mushroom hunting, right? Like, especially during the fall. It's too late now, but to find some lion's mane out there, some reishi, maybe a little bit of oysters. You know, that'd just be beautiful, man. Hey, Pay, thanks for the live, man. The other day you mentioned something about NFT and Cardano. Are we still able to get that? I've been thinking about doing my own NFTs, actually. The only one I know of so far is Cardano Kids. I'm not sure where to get it. Mike said, damn, he gets 1 or 2 questions away from my chat and keeps missing my chat. So I need to move out of Bloom. If you want to move out of Bloom, man, go for it. You know, I'm sorry for missing your chat. I'm getting probably about 10 chats every 10 seconds here. So I'm sorry for missing it. You know, if you keep typing it, I will get to it eventually. Thailand, that's in Indonesia. Yeah, for sure. That's where I thought it was from. NFT be driving game. Bloom 6. Hell yeah, Steve Prince. I appreciate it, man. Hey, Pay, going live in less than 60. Yeah, you're right. Let me try to finish off. Do I need to move out of Bloom 2? No, Bloom 2 is cool, man. Steven said, I have IBS. That's not funny. I'm sorry about that, man. IBS sucks. How much is a 63 million operator? I can't answer that right now. What's up, Kaizen? Thanks for swinging by. The drone said Somali. I don't think you can hunt Molly in the woods, man. I bought a gun with a few ADA months ago. That's cool. What's the red ball all about? I think it's developer tools, man. Very pumped. 1 minute away. What announcements do you expect? I don't know, man. Maybe we could have some exchange announcements. We could have some... Let me switch over to Crowdcast. Let me make sure it's not going already. All right, it's not going yet. Let me go to both. Cool. So we are at 4970 on real-time subscribers. So if you're watching this right now and you haven't subscribed to my channel, you could be my 5,000 subscriber right now. That'd be awesome, man. I would love to hit that today. I think we will. The Goguen watch party has not started yet, so I can get some more questions. I'm going to go ahead and put this over to the right so I'll see it when it actually launches. There's so many people here. All right. So what questions we got? Dev Pryor said, are those HD 650s? They're HD 6XXs. They're the mass drop ones. So they're close to 650s. I got a ODAC amp too. Mayflower Electronics. Brad said, Seabus is a beautiful city with some nice rural areas. Check out the country around the Galloway area. I'll have to check that out, man. Got to go back to work. Great work. No problem, man. I hope you have a good day at work. Bloom 5 is great. For sure, man. Anthony said, I see you're getting some good use of the espresso machine. You like it so far? I love it, man. I do. I was wasting too much money on coffee. Cody said, done subbed. I appreciate it, man. We're at 296 viewers. If you guys want to push out this Goguen news to the rest of the cryptocurrency community, all you have to do is leave a like on this video and keep sending chats. And if you stay here longer, it'll push this video out to the rest of the crypto community, and they'll see this Goguen news. So make sure you guys leave a like on this. It really does support the channel. And we are also, let's check the real-time subs. We're at 4,980. We're not going to be checking this here soon. I'm going to be going offline as soon as this crowdcast starts. But we're at 4,980. We're doing really well. We're only 20 away, so I really appreciate the support thus far, guys. Let me switch back to the live. Mulky Dot said, is ETH2 already launched? Yeah. Yep. I actually had someone contact me today interested in asking me to help them set up an ETH node. And I was like, huh, that'd be interesting. When Charles goes live, will you stop here or run? Yeah, I'm not going to stop here. What I'm going to do, I'll show you guys real quick. I switch over to this screen, just watch. I'll bring the Cowdcast over and I'll shut the hell up. That's what I'll do. I know I'm not that cool. Charles is way better, way more entertaining than me. But I'm watching it over there, so as soon as it goes live, we're going to switch, man. No worries. You just received the bell, and it's live. Let me go ahead and refresh the page. I'll see if I can get it working. It says starting in a moment. Hank said, I'm liking and reliking. Does that count? I hope so. Still not live for me yet? Speaker's getting ready. That's a good sign. We can check that live subscriber count real quick. I'm so excited for 5K. This is my 12-year-old dream. Yep, still not live yet. We're at 4,980, so 20 more. I'll read some more questions before we go back. Chris Jong said, keep up the good work, man. Always informative. I try to be, man. I'm trying to learn every single day. These monthly updates are a good way to learn, man. Sometimes they get pretty technical, but it's worth it. Can you send that link in again, man? I think they're having trouble streaming it.
We're strong believers that
I got it. See you guys.
Is your vote.
Love you.
It's an important way to shape the platform and ecosystem. So with our delegation program, we're looking to go a bit beyond our role just as a developer of the platform, guaranteeing the stability and security of the platform, and supporting a plurality of ideas, and to advocate for a specific type of system, and specifically one that focuses on a message of personal responsibility, decentralization, and geographic diversity. And while our goals and priorities will change over time, we felt with a change of the system parameters to k equals 500, this was the right time to embark on a program to encourage the largest number of truly independent stake pool operators. And so the first part of our delegation program will be looking to go out and engage and support operators that we think are supporting those values. And one of those is we think pools with a high amount of pledge and who are not looking to maximize the leverage are going to be an important aspect of the initial choice of selections. And we also recognize that there are pools that come from economies where maybe they do not have enough money for the pledge. And so we're also looking at purpose pools and specifically to make sure that pools are not lost from the list of delegation candidates, and we give them the focus and attention that they need as well.
So this is another part of the kind of the evolution, I suppose, of the relationship, if you like, with the stake pool operator community. Ben, you came on board a couple of months ago now with a sort of specific brief to try and improve the feedback loop, and this, I guess, is part of that kind of evolution. But perhaps you can just frame it a little bit more around some of the other activities that you've been doing and how this fits in.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. When I joined, we talked about improving feedback loops for stake pool operators and for the stakeholders in the ecosystem. And I've mentioned before that what that looks like is lowering the barriers to observation and orientation, and that would allow everybody in the ecosystem to make better decisions, take more actions, and we hope reduce uncertainty. So a good example of that is that we recently did a daedalus survey, which drove over 4,000 respondents with feedback into the team that's going to help drive the development and product decisions. And there was a really, really significant win. Now, it's really important that we do support stake pools. And, I've been in all of the Telegram groups that I've been able to find. So, if I'm not in one, then please send it to me. And everybody's concerned about how stake pools are going to be supported. They're concerned about the delegation strategy. So I've worked with Lando. On the 10th, we're going to be launching a chatbot form. So we want to make it simple. We want to make it easy, and we're going to invite stake pools to apply for delegation. And we'll be reviewing that in January, and I believe we're going to be doing that in cohorts, which are released every 3 months. So I hope that's going to be an easy, simple experience, and I'm open to feedback if anybody has it as they go down that route.
So Lando, that's the 10th of December that we're going to be opening up this opportunity up, I guess, to the stake pool operator community. Perhaps you can just give us a little bit more detail. If I'm a stake pool operator and I'm watching this now and I'm thinking that sounds like something I'd like to get involved in, what's the sort of information we'll be looking for, and what can people expect in return?
In that form, we will be looking for pools with a purpose, pools with a mission or a goal to help or to improve the world we are all living on. As IOG is not only delivering and working on Cardano, it's also a company with a mission. We want to bring something or do something for the world. So we're looking for pools that, for example, run eco-friendly, that they use eco-friendly resources to run their pools. Also, we will look for stake pool operators that donate part of their rewards to a charity or that are run on behalf of a charity. Some other stake pool operators that, for example, could create educational content. It could be for Cardano or any other type of educational content about technology or to help people access a better labor, for example. Also, we want to help stake pool operators that run in developing countries. As Colin has said, it may be more difficult to them to access a high amount of pledge to attract more delegation. We are looking for small stake pool operators, and we will cycle through the complete list of stake pool operators before selecting a new stake pool operator twice. So we can help the whole community as much as we can before returning to select the same stake pool operators. We will delegate enough time to the stake pool operators so that they can attract delegation and that they can produce a block every time or every epoch. And we will also be considering and checking the block production, because we also want stake pool operators that are committed with the cause and that they have a nice block production stake pool operators. So that's something we will be controlling when we do the selection of the stake pool operators.
Okay, and so 10th of December, applications open. We'll sort of close applications just before the end of the year. We'll review those. So the first stake pools, whether they're a purpose-driven pool or an incubator-based pool, will be receiving their first data delegations, hopefully by the end of January, that kind of time frame. So look, I mean, if you are an SPO and you're watching this at the moment, do keep an eye out on our social media and our Twitter, and I'm sure Ben will send that link out on the 10th, which of course is Ada Lovelace's birthday, if you haven't picked up on that already. So keep an eye out for that then. Thanks very much, everybody, for joining.
That's a great initiative, Tim. Nice conversation. And that really does drive home decentralization and how we want to be diverse and inclusive with our pool delegation strategy.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we mentioned one date there, which of course is the 10th of December, which is when those call for applications will go out. But it's also important to note there's another date coming up very soon, on the 6th, in fact, which is when the parameter changes, the K parameter changes from 150 to 500. Now, that's important for the stake pool operator community because it basically broadens the chance of creating blocks from smaller pools. So that's an important thing. It broadens the choice for ADA delegators to choose a pool themselves. But I think if you're a delegator and you're watching this, and if you're currently delegating to a pool which is more than 30% saturated, you need to find yourself a new pool because you are not currently getting your optimum rewards. So that's an important message also just to get out to everybody today. So let's move on. Let's talk Goguen, a partner. Now, lots of updates on this show around Goguen, and I think you caught up with Vuk to take us through a few of the highlights.
I did. So we're going to talk to you about native tokens all the way through a new Devnet initiative that we have. So let's roll that clip. Okay, so welcoming Vuk back to the show. We're here today to talk about the Goguen program and some of the immediate deliverables that are happening, which is actually very exciting because we have made a lot of progress in terms of the program. So we talked about how the program starts with metadata and then moves into the native tokens aspect, which has actually two areas strategically for us. One happens to be native, and then the second is the ERC20 conversion project. And then how Plutus and Marlowe played. And then we've also got something else we're working on with interoperability, which we'll talk about in this segment. So Vuk, just starting with the basics, we put a few slides together with our product marketer, Maki, and to explain to the community and to our audience really what native tokens are, what they can do, some of the differences between ERC20 and native tokens. And this particular slide, it might seem very basic, but in reality, because the industry has so many different terms for almost the same thing, in order not to create confusion, product marketing, we've decided to make a glossary. That way our internal team knows, our developers know, the community will know what we're calling different things. So Vuk, explain to us some of the key structures within the native tokens environment.
Yeah, sure. So we have, of course, some basic concepts like the token and the asset. The token, of course, is basically a representation of an asset on the Cardano blockchain. Now, the concept that is different from the other blockchains is the token bundle. We had to create this concept in order for us to be able to allow users to transact multiple tokens in one transaction. So when you're sending a transaction with a token bundle, you're sending multiple tokens at once. And of course, the native means that it's on the ledger layer, which is very different from other blockchains where it's on the smart contracts layer.
Great. So this is going to be a part of our lingo and how we speak. So just for the community's sake, as you see documentation, we'll kind of follow these standards, and we wanted to share that with you. So going to the next slide, I'm not going to touch upon this a lot. We actually spoke about this the last show about some of the examples of tokens and what partners want to do with them, with loyalty points or whether people have shares in companies or music rights, things of that nature. So we broke that down a bit as well into like security asset types, stable coins, and non-fungibles. This doesn't mean that this is all we're doing. The platform is really broad. And as we come out with our pre-production environments, which will help us develop the applications and types of tokens people would like to create, we will solidify the examples of these types of tokens that are being created on Cardano. And then one of the other things that we like to do, and if you're a regular viewer of a show, you would have heard me say this, but designing for our actual user. How are they going to use this? What will make their lives easier? So when it comes to native tokens, we actually have broken it down based on the roadmap for it. So Vuk, why don't you take us through this high level?
Yeah, sure. So in the first release, as part of the pre-production environment, we are focused on dev developers and power users. This is mainly because of the fact that we are going to release only the CLI, and people will be able to mint and burn tokens only through that. At a later stage, we are going to allow other personas as well, like startups, enterprises, leverage native tokens with less technical expertise necessary. And of course, at the end, we are going to allow any user to leverage native tokens either through wallets or any other tool that is focused on normal people.
That's great. All right, so there was a lot of buzz in the community when we had mentioned how native tokens, one of the value propositions of this being on Cardano, is we would treat it very similar to how we treat our principal currency, ADA. So you can see we did a quick chart just to run through some of these.
So some of those are obvious, like the first four, but the ones that we should focus on are the fact that, of course, native tokens can be minted while ADA cannot. and the fact that you can pay for fees only in ADA, obviously because of security reasons from the ledger side, and that ADA is the only currency that can be part of the minimum cover for the UTXO value, also for security reasons.
So thanks, Book. That actually was a pretty good high-level comparison between what native tokens and differences are from ADA. However, it's still a major value proposition that we do treat all native tokens similar to ADA on the chain. We are actually coming out with the pre-production environment like promised on the last show. And to reiterate to the community what a pre-production environment is, it's not necessarily as early stage as a testnet. This is code that we have tested. We have tested within our own internal teams, and we're putting it in a pre-production environment so that developers and partners and those user personas that you saw on a previous slide can come in and work with the features as opposed to worrying about testing certain levels of the code. So this is more of a UAT and more of a way for us to learn what sort of tokens and what sort of properties that people would like going forward in the main product. So Vuk, just based on that, what can users do? Let's walk through some of the user stories.
Yeah, sure. So in the pre-production environment, as mentioned earlier, you'll be able to use the CLI in order to mint and burn tokens. Of course, in order to do that, first you'll need to define a monetary script, and you'll be able to send the tokens to addresses. Now, the thing is that this is it's not very user-friendly because it's a CLI. So what we did is we actually decided to put it in the ERC20 converter and make a more general tool that allows you to manage tokens. So you'll be able to go to one part of the ERC20 converter and create a token, set the name for the token, how many tokens you want to mint, how many decibels you want to have, and select the monetary policy and just send the token to a particular address.
That's great. Now, when we move this over to the mainnet, we're obviously going to be able to do the things from the pre-production environments, the features in the pre-production environments, but we will be adding a few other user stories to that mix.
Yeah, of course, on the mainnet, we want to have like a normal state where people are able to do whatever they are able to do with data today. Mm-hmm. So in this release, they will be able to use Daedalus. They will be able to have like a normal experience that they can expect for ADA right now.
That's correct. And then the one piece that we're also working through is the metadata registry. So that in its to itself is like a mini project within this project, but it's needed from a name registry type purpose. Look, do you have anything that you can share there?
Yeah, sure. So the metadata registry will allow people to add some metadata for specific things that are on the chain. In the case of the token, for example, that could be the name of the token, the symbol, and so on. But it's not just limited to that. We'll be sharing more with time.
Perfect. Okay. So audience, you've kind of seen the NT pre-prod. So that's the native tokens piece of the strategy. The second piece is around interoperability. So being able to bring in coins from other chains, and in this case, the ERC20 converter that we introduced in the last project. So I'm not going to go through this right now because this particular feature comparison we showed you the last time. So we won't detail everything out. You already have that recording and this visual. But what I'd like to do really is talk about with Vuk the life cycle of where we believe this ERC20 converter is going to go, and some of the excitement around the partnerships and applications that we're finding off of this.
So from the product lifecycle perspective, we are looking at the feedback that we're getting from customers, and we are realizing that many of the customers just want to make a new token on Cardano. It's not just about converting existing tokens. So we are seeing more and more people with those requirements. So this is the reason why, in general, we thought more about the converter and thought, okay, we are not just building a ERC20 converter, which is just bringing tokens from the Ethereum network. We are basically building a platform that allows people to get started with tokens. And we are thinking more in terms of what are all the needs that customers have when actually creating tokens on the platform. So this is just a small prototype of the token builder. It showcases how the token creation process is going to look like, and it's going to be part of the ERC20 converter. So it's enough for me to go to create token. I define the name of the token, for example, IOG token, then the symbol of the token, IOG, the amount of tokens that I want to mint, for example, 1,000, and the decimals that I want to have. In this particular case, I have a monetary policy that is predefined, but I can basically set up any monetary policy that I want. Now I cannot create a token because the network is not live, but basically by just clicking on create token, you'll be able to create a token as easy as that. We believe that the token creation is going to be as important as the conversion of tokens, but it's also important to keep the same user experience that we have for the token conversion.
All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that on the token builder. There's some exciting user experiences updates for native tokens on that, and even with the ERC20 converter, like we said with Book on the Job, we're really looking at the user experience on tokens. But then interoperability doesn't just have to be tokens. We're also looking at it from a smart contract standpoint. And many of you would have heard Charles alluding to some of this during his AMAs and his talks. But we are adding to the Goguen program in parallel to everything we're doing natively with Plutus and Marlowe and the other DSLs, the partner angles with RV, and you're going to hear from them in the show, and also with Moon, Mutual Knowledge Systems, who you were introduced to on the last show, who's the founders of the Glow language. So what does that mean? Well, that actually means that we're looking to figure out how we can bridge their languages and what they're doing to Cardano. And we're doing that in terms of a DevNet. It's like a developer environment. These are early DevNets. We're testing out these concepts. We're recruiting Solidity developers from the field, from the community that want to be a part of it. We've been doing this so that we can get smart contracting languages integrated with Cardano so that people have options. At the end of the day, we want Cardano to fit developers and not the other way around. So this slide right here is just more of an, both these slides actually are more of an informational slide, just to show you some of the terms that you're going to hear, the K-semantics term and what KEVM is, and what we're doing with Solidity on Yelly, which is a part of the K-semantics solutions, and Glow, of course, that's going to be compiled using the KEVM. This slide over here is once again informational, but it's to show people what source codes get compiled to what, so that there's no confusion when we're talking about the different terms around virtual machines and bytecodes. And this is all great news that we're adding an angle of interoperability into the Goguen program and thinking about developers and not just about how our native languages are going to progress. So I think it's a win-win for us. All right, so on to the next. So what are we doing from a target user standpoint? So similar to native tokens, we are looking for two main broad categories: developers and then partners. At this early stage DevNet segment, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. So there will be some type forms we're going to share to get people that are interested to come in and play with us in these developer environments. We're going to continue the progress and the learning around these DevNets and iterate on it, and we'll open it up even more so for anybody who might not have time right now to be involved. So these are going to be open. It's a part of the program, so you guys will hear about this in our show going forward. Okay, and in summary, where are we with Goguen? So there's a lot, as you can tell just from this segment and what we're going to show you as well. There's been a lot of progress. I'm very proud of the team. The metadata feature being complete, we're making sure that Explorer has support on it, so the commercial angle, our commercial teams can now work on real applications just using the metadata standard itself. Native tokens, we've got the pre-prod coming out and working with the pre-production environments to get us to that mainnet version of native tokens. ERC20 converters, like we said, we're working with partners here. We're looking to productize the ERC20 converter from just a concept and also to an actual product that we can bundle up. Token locking, the hard fork combinator event is coming up with token locking, which will help us in the Goguen program. So that's also checkboxed by the end of the year. And the interoperability program that I just spoke about, which is very exciting news, to bring in RV and to bring in Moon and to have their languages and their concepts work on Cardano. So really exciting news there, and we're excited to launch the Devnet program in that area. Alpha on Marlow, the playground, everything's going great. Checking up with the team, with Shruti, Simon, and Mike, and we're getting a lot of feedback from you guys. The Telegram channels have been very useful, and we're continuing to work on all the integrations of the different financial contracts there and working towards a mainnet program. Plutus Playground is getting up to speed as well. We'll have some more information on that soon. Book is actually in charge of that as well, and working towards the DevNet finally with Plutus. So we'll have the native portion of Cardano on smart contracts ready next year, and then partnerships. And we will have a show later on this month, which is going to focus on the different types of partnerships, because that's incredibly important for utility, because that's what Goguen about. It's like I said, the utility pillar. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up. Book, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Okay, so lots of exciting stuff there happening. But look, maybe one of the questions that people are asking is why are we calling these DevNets specifically? What's the difference between a DevNet and a testnet?
That's an interesting question. So DevNet, kind of short for a developer environment in a way. So similar in the clip, I kind of talked about pre-production environments, Tim. And it's a similar question. Is that any different from a testnet? Yes, it is, because when it comes to a testnet, we're putting out code that's still somewhat a little bit buggy. We're asking for a little more UAT on the lower level bugs as well as the higher level bugs, as well as UAT in general, workflows and features. But with a pre-production environment akin to a DevNet, we've already done a lot of that testing. So we're actually there specifically for the experience, the feature set, and figuring out what people can build and do with them so that we're solidifying our major product, our mainnet product. So that's what a developer experience or environment is.
So I think quite a useful analogy there, I think that I've heard, is around the developer kit, for example, that game developers get sent prior to the console being available in the living room. You get your version of an Xbox, you get your version of a PlayStation. It's not a final production version, but it's basically enough to get cracking. And I guess that's kind of the approach we're taking here.
Oh, that's a great analogy, and absolutely, that is the approach. Okay,
so look, these DevNets are being developed in association with a couple of different partners, one of whom you'll all have met before, another who you probably won't. So first off, let's maybe go to a clip that I shot with the team at Runtime Verification earlier this week to hear a little bit more about Yele and also the work that they're doing on KVM. So we're very excited to be joined on the show by Grigory and Everett from Runtime Verification. So before we dig a little bit into the project itself, maybe let's hear a little bit more about the history of Runtime Verification. Grigory, perhaps you just want to start things off.
Hi, thank you for inviting us, Tim and Aparna. So I started this company, Runtime Verification, about 10 years ago. And the goal was to bring to the real world research that we've done in my lab at the University of Illinois, at Urbana-Champaign. And in particular, to transform the K framework that was used mainly for academic projects into a framework that can power real products for real customers. And the term itself, runtime verification, is a term that I coined, I think about 15 years ago when I was at NASA, when we came up with this approach somewhere between testing and formal verification, and we didn't know exactly how to call it. Our papers were rejected both by the testing community and by the formal verification community because it was not clearly formal verification or testing, but we found a very fruitful middle ground that we called runtime verification, where it appeared that we can take the benefits of both formal verification and testing in a very practical way. And we called this runtime verification. It was very inspiring. It inspired a large community of researchers. Now there's an international conference called Runtime Verification. We formed the company Runtime Verification, and here we are.
I'm Everett, and I joined the company in early 2018. I was originally a student at UIUC, actually in a different lab than the one that Grigory runs. And Life events took me out of the university, and so I had to get a job, and I got a job at Runtime Verification because I believed in what they were doing in terms of formal semantics of programming languages being the basis of all the tools that you develop for those programming languages. And when I started at the company, the main focus of the company was automotive and aerospace industries, and as Grigory said, in this testing kind of flavor to things. But at the university, we had done a class project just kind of experimenting in blockchain with Ethereum and the EVM. And that once it kind of took off at the company, we started seeing a lot of demand to do formal verification, full-blown formal verification, not this kind of mix between testing and formal verification of smart contracts. And we found it was actually commercially viable to do so because of because smart contracts are usually pretty small and simple, basically. And so that kind of took off our smart contract side of the business. And initially, we weren't really sure where we fit in the ecosystem, but we kept doing formal verification for people. And more recently, we've been developing products that we're hoping people benefit from in terms of improving their own code quality themselves without having to consult with us. And then and more recently, we're seeing a lot more smart contract audit requests for various DeFi applications. So it's been feels like it's been a long 2 years or 3 years at this point, but I don't know. I guess it went pretty quick. So
that's an awesome story. I mean, starting off in the automotive space and the aerospace space, that's part of my background as well. So I'm quite familiar with the amount of testing and rigor that happens in that industry, and then bringing that into blockchain. I think that's a niche market, and it's much needed, especially for where we're headed. And Cardano, the project itself, is so heavily reliant on high quality code and how we're testing and how we're verifying that it makes perfect sense that we're working together. But Everett, you mentioned something about the smart contract space a little bit, and about the DeFi inquiries that you guys are getting from audits. So just in that vein, from a market perspective, are there any particular trends or insights that you'd like to share with our audience regarding the smart contract markets? Where do you see it going? And then, if you don't mind, Grigory, after that, I'd love to hear your opinion on it as well.
Yeah, actually, so when we first started, a lot of the work we were doing was really infrastructural. So it was just really basic, like a multi-sig wallet, these types of things, really low-level infrastructural work. Verifying things. And then there was kind of, there's various crypto crazes that have happened. And in those points, usually you see kind of a lot of toy smart contracts, like just, kind of for fun sort of things that get way too big, way bigger than they were meant to be initially. But more recently, in the last few months, we've seen a lot more of these DeFi style smart contracts where people are porting traditional financial instruments over to blockchain, basically. So you have the same kind of traditional financial instruments, but now they're running on blockchain in an automated fashion, and they're starting to add some twists to it that maybe didn't show up in the traditional financial sector as well. So I think we're starting to really get into a more serious kind of application of blockchain than we've seen in the past couple of years, where people are actually saying, hey, this is real. We can actually do decentralized finance without banks there to moderate it. And that's kind of what we're seeing more in the past few months, is more audit requests for these style of applications, which aren't just one-off like CryptoKitties, trading platforms, whatever. They're actually full-blown financial instruments that we're seeing here. So
I would like to add that, in my view, in order for DeFi to have the impact and the huge transformative nature that it can have to become reality for all of us, we need major liquidity providers to step in and provide large amounts of money so that large loans can be made and the whole infrastructure to really replace the current banking system as we know it. But in order for that to happen, the big liquidity providers must have trust in this code, in these DeFi protocols. And there are so many things that can go wrong there. It's only when you do formal verification of code that you realize how many things can go wrong. many enthusiasts are enthusiasts. They think, oh, this should go. That's nice. They think 5 seconds, 10 seconds. This is really cool. Let's do it. Right? But the reality is that there are so many hidden errors, so many possible exploits there that without formal verification, which is the best we know as a community, the best we've done in 50 years or so of research, to avoid, even eliminate sometimes coding errors. Without that, you will not attract the big liquidity providers to step in because there's a huge risk to lose big. So that's why we are firm believers in the power of formal verification in DeFi. And we believe that in 5 years or so, there will be no DeFi protocol that is taken seriously without being formally verified rigorously by very reputable teams. You see, many DeFi protocols now, these days, are anonymous. Why they are anonymous? Like SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, Pickle, right? Because nobody wants to take responsibility for those. They know there could be bugs, they could be in trouble. I don't think that has a long-term future. I think they need to be done by reputable companies like Runtime Verification or maybe Cardano or many other companies like that, and to have powerful reasoning methods behind to analyze both the economic models and validate important properties over the economic models, and also all the code, make sure that there are no errors that can be exploited.
So we're going to dig down a little bit into the YELE and the KVM project that we're going to be working on with you specifically. But before we do that, perhaps let's just go back to the K framework and just hear a little bit more about that kind of meta that sits across the top of both of these and how that fits in.
The K framework is what we call a programming language semantic framework, which means that you formalize mathematically, rigorously, your programming language once and for all. And then from that one mathematical artifact, you derive automatically or semi-automatically all the tools that you need for that language, like parsers, interpreters, compilers, program verifiers, model checkers. All the tools that we need for that language can be derived in a correct by construction style from the mathematical definition of the programming language, in a way that there is nothing to prove about them, nothing to prove that they are correct, because they are generated correct by construction. So that was a firm belief that I think my advisor inoculated in my head probably when late 90s, when he convinced me that that's the only way to go if we want to do things the right way. And I fell for it. And I had absolutely no motivation afterwards to do things any other way. And by that, I mean ad hoc tools. Okay, so pick an ad hoc language, let's say Java 4, right? And then pick a tool, let's say a model checker. And now let's do a model checker for Java 4. Right? You spend years to work on that, and then nothing of that is reusable to the next version of Java, or C, or Solidity, or JavaScript. And that made no sense because it was like, at best, a huge waste of talent and not economical. So we decided to step back and do things properly, which was, by the way, my advisor was Goguen, which is also how you call the next release in Cardano. I'm very honored for that. So Goguen convinced me that if we do things mathematically rigorously, long term we win. And then we designed the K framework in that spirit, where you define a programming language once and for all, and then all the tools are derived from that one definition. And once you think about it, and once you assimilate this concept, then it's hard to motivate yourself to do things any other way. And that's what we've done. And we've done K for many years. I think we started in 2000, late 2000, 2005. We had the first prototype. And we had it in the academic environment at the university. And then in 2015, it was ready to be transitioned into the company, into Runtime Verification. In 2015, we started using K in Runtime Verification. And we had the first tool based on it, then another. And then we started working with IOHK, and things grew from there.
So in terms of the tools, we're talking about specifically YELEs, IELE, and then also the KEVM products. So why don't you guys give me a little bit of an overview of those two and how this takes the K framework, and where do you see this evolving to?
Sure. So I'll give you a little bit of history initially. KVM started out as a class project at the University of Illinois, and then actually IOHK stepped in and they kind of saw the future in smart contract quality assurance. You know, at the time we weren't thinking of doing anything with it. It was just a class project where we were saying, okay, this was cool. It was a nice experiment, and we were able to do some simple verification and some testing using the KVM. But IOHK saw it, and they realized kind of what it meant in terms of providing smart contract quality assurance. And they approached us actually and said, hey, how would you like to turn this into something as more of a commercial venture? And that's what really resulted in it being transferred over to the runtime verification side of things instead of the University of Illinois side of things. So runtime verification took off, and there was a lot of infrastructural development that had to happen initially first, which was funded largely by IOHK. And then once this infrastructural work was kind of done, we started being able to be self-sustaining basically in terms of doing smart contract security audits and other protocol modeling and stuff like this. So it turns out there was a huge market for this high quality assurance work that we could do for people. So KVM at this point, you know, it's basically done. When there's an update when there's a hard fork for Ethereum, we have to do a little maintenance work on it. And occasionally we, you know, find little issues or we find inefficiencies in it, and we fix those. So the future for KVM is just building out tooling around it at this point. And the tooling that we've done so far, you know, we started off just doing formal verification, so we just had formal verification tooling around it. And there's been a few other companies that have also built their own tooling around it. So what comes to mind is like DAppHub has developed the KLab and the ACT specification language to make it easier to do formal verification using KVM. That's kind of one of the bigger success stories. But more recently, we've been developing this tool called Firefly, which is us trying to wrap up everything that's automatable about our quality assurance pipeline into one tool that developers can plug into their existing quality assurance stack. So rather than you know, the power of K and KVM comes from, you know, you have to get to it, to access it, you have to be a formal methods expert. You have to really know what you're doing. But there are some smaller things that can be done in an automated fashion by the computers. So we're trying to wrap all those smaller things up into a tool that people can just use themselves to increase their smart contract quality assurance. That's for KVM. For Yele, it also started a while ago. It was back when we were doing the initial IOHK engagements in 2018, and you know, there's this new blockchain coming out, Cardano, right? And we wanted a better designed VM for it because we struggled a lot with trying to verify some of the initial Ethereum smart contracts using KVM because there's a lot of kind of, I guess, quirky design decisions in the EVM itself. And we thought we could do better. And so we helped Cardano to design this new VM called Yele, which is much more influenced by kind of more modern register-based VMs than EVM is. So if you read Yele code and you've read LLVM code before, you'll see, oh, okay, there's kind of some similarities between the two. And we benefited a lot from University of Illinois' expertise in LLVM and writing compiler passes and all their expertise there. So yeah, Yele started out as a designed language actually, and we designed it to be easier to do reasoning with than EVM, knowing all the problems that we had doing EVM formal verification. And you know, Yele now needs to be updated, and so we're working on updating it to get to the point we're kind of in this steady state that we're in with KVM. And then once we're there, it'll be the same kind of story to develop tooling around it. So one of the kind of 4 to 6 month plans we have is applying Firefly to Yele, for instance, and having this bag of automated tools that smart contract developers targeting Yele can use for doing their smart contract quality assurance. So that's kind of the story of those two.
So you mentioned that we first started working together back in 2018, and obviously since then the platform's come a long way, and I think particularly the community's come a long way as well. So what particularly excites you and interests you about working with Cardano now over the next few months ahead, particularly?
So I can tell you what I really like about Cardano in general. I really like the team. It's an amazingly strong team. When you look at the team on the IOHK webpage, it almost feels like a top-notch research lab with top researchers, top papers, lots of papers published. So everything is derived from fundamental research and from fundamental understanding of very difficult problems. So the team is a major factor for us. Then the vision and the long term planning is also done in a way that makes it scale, right? If you look at many blockchains, they have this unbelievable staking rewards like 100%, 50%. It's clear they want just to do things quickly to attract masses of enthusiasts. But if you look at how Cardano made every single step along the line very rigorously, it's clearly that it aims for the long term, and this is what happens for how we do things in fundamental research. So it's all fueled by research, and I really like that. And particularly, I like the fact that the CEO of the company, Charles Hoskinson, is a big believer in the power of research and fundamental understanding of things, as opposed to ad hoc doing things quickly. So that's what attracts me. I don't know, Everett, you may have a different take on it. But when I think of Cardano, that's what comes to mind, and that's why I like to work with Cardano. And I'm very optimistic about any future that we can take together.
Yeah, my impression of Cardano has been similar, actually. I'm impressed with how much emphasis is put on research, which I think is important for this space because this is new. You know, a lot of this is totally new. The world hasn't seen a lot of the, this concept of DeFi where you don't have centralized people managing the money. That's totally new. So I think there has to be some research in terms of, okay, how are we going to do this in a way that it works? And I think Cardano is putting that time in, and they understand the importance of doing that, so they're actually approaching different research groups like our group, and we've been in touch with some of the other groups they talk to, and telling them, hey, we'd like to get a tool out of you, and we'd also like to get some research out of you and get some more understanding of what it is we're trying to do here. So I think that's an important aspect of how Cardano is approaching these problems, rather than the kind of shotgun, we're going to try everything and see what sticks against the wall, and then maybe lose some money on a few of the contracts because it didn't work or something like that. They're taking a much more principled approach.
Okay, so very exciting times ahead. Thank you very much, Everett and Grigori, and yeah, we're really looking forward to working with you again and more closely over the months ahead. Thank you both.
So Tim, what I really like about the approach Runtime Verification does is they're looking at this as a universality type of concept, to where developers that develop in multiple different languages and how to verify that code in a way that's somewhat almost standard. And their case semantics, their solutions that come up against case semantics really is very exciting to me, because it simplifies a lot of the more complex languages in our space. So I was very excited to talk to them and partner with them and see where we're going there. Another such approach that we're doing, so outside of universality, is interoperability. And we talk a lot about that for Cardano and a platform in general. And GLOW, which is the language for mutual knowledge systems, caught up with their co-founder, Fare, great guy. And we have a clip to run just to kind of show you guys the language itself. And a great way to look at it is they automate some of the more interesting security-related areas that need to happen when compiling a code is almost automated, and that makes it a lot easier to do. So that's their value proposition. So I just want to go and show you guys a quick demo of that. Hi, audience. We're here with Fare, the co-founder of Mutual Knowledge Systems and of the language language Glow. Hey, Fare, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me, Aparna.
So last time we introduced Fare to our community, and there was quite a little bit, actually more. There was a lot of buzz around the Glow language. So I did want to bring you back onto the show to kind of do like a part 2, if you may, because we talked about the value proposition of Glow and the language. But one of the things that really stuck out to me was the trust concept, and how the language solves that trust concept and the attack scenarios, and what do you do to mitigate some of those things. So on this segment, we're actually going to talk a little bit about those scenarios and also do a little demo of the language so the audience sees in real time what this looks like. So Fare, I'm going to turn this over to you and help us understand a little bit more about the scenarios with the trust.
Okay, let me share my screen and share a part of a presentation I gave earlier this year at CC. I had given a presentation at CC, but the part of this presentation that I want to show you is the attack models. So what are, every time people talk about security, something that a lot of them miss is what am I actually protecting you against or not protecting you, failing to protect against. So the attack model that the Glow aims at solving, we don't solve everything today, but that we have a design that is on the right track to solve them, is first and foremost abstraction failures. Glow, the whole approach of Glow is that we have a language that simplifies things by making them more abstract, taking it to a level of abstraction that's closer to what the user cares about, so that all the mistakes that you do as part of the implementation, the user cannot do them. Only the implementer can make a bad thing, such as if you have a bug in Solidity or you have a bug in Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything, you can lose all your money because there's a bug in Bitcoin. But at least if you trust Bitcoin and you trust Solidity, you cannot, in Solidity, you can still write a bad, you can still write reentrancy issue problem in Solidity. You can still do bad delegation. You can still destroy a library under your the hood. You can miss some kind of permission checks, and there have been like tens or hundreds of millions of dollars lost this way just because of bad abstraction. And this is something that totally disappears with Glow, because Glow is at a level of abstraction above all these issues. So yes, there can be a bug in the Glow compiler, such as a bug in Solidity or anything, but there cannot be a bug in your programs written in Glow that cause any of these issues. That's just impossible, not expressible. So there's also problem of misplaced trust. Even more money has been lost because of misplaced trust. People used an exchange that was hacked, or they trust a bad oracle or anything like that. Basically, your application isn't as centralized as it's purposed to be. And I cannot solve that with Glow, but what I can do is I can make the hypothesis explicit. I can make it, if you run this app, you're trusting this validation network, or you're trusting this particular issuer. So do you trust them? If you do, I cannot make you trust them or not trust them, but it must be explicit as part of your application who you are trusting or not. And when this becomes explicit, maybe people will pay more attention to non-custodial DEXs, exchanges, and decentralized oracles, things like that. Because, they understand, actually, maybe I should not use this app. It's actually a centralized app that happens to run on a decentralized network, which is totally centralized. Like it's So also lots of low-level attacks. And that's the part where everyone today has to solve these issues on their own. You have to make sure your computer is secure, you won't get hacked, that your network is not going to be DDoSed, so you can still post your transaction, that you must play the game so that there's no economic denial of service where someone buys the entire blockchain, so you cannot post your transaction. There are lots of system programming bugs that can cause all your data you use the system calls the wrong way and you lose your data. Or your computer, your data center goes down and you lose your data because you don't have a backup, etc. So all these are engineering problems that are well known, but right now everyone has to solve them from scratch. The value proposition of Glow here is that we can hire a specialized engineering team and everyone will share it. Glow is an open source project, so that means that everyone who uses the open source project gets all the value in the beginning without having to have their own team. And of course, we're also a company, so we will sell the services so that you can integrate well in your system, because even open source project, you have to deploy it, and that requires still some engineering specialty. But at least all these attacks are attacks that we can prevent with Glow. We can make it that if you write an app, you can focus on the business logic, on the economic aspect. I'm writing a derivatives contract, I'm writing a supply chain tracking or a shopping app, whatever. You want to focus on your business logic, and everything, all the lower level systems aspect is something that can be shared by all the users of Glow, because only the Glow team need to do that. And if you need to modify Glow, we can do it for you, or you can do it yourself. It's open source. But at least your modification will serve everyone. And the person who writes the app as such can just focus on their business logic. And that's the main thing about Glow, I hope, to solve. And I want to illustrate that with what the simplest programming Glow can be. It's buying a signature. Some buyer, Alice, wants to buy a signature from Bob, which is basically an access to some door or rental of some property or anything. It can be a signature for a swap on another blockchain. And the contract looks like this. There are 6 lines of actual code. These 3 lines, I'm saying that I have an interaction between the seller and the buyer. And this interaction takes a digest and a price as parameters. The price right now is an integer. And the buyer is going to deposit the price into in the contract. And then the seller will publicly sign the signature and then withdraw the money. So, and then closing brace for the 6th line. And publicly means basically that I'm going to do the thing verifiably, and then I am going to publish it, and then everyone is going to verify that the contract is going to verify it's correct. And this is the same thing as requires that the signature is valid from the seller. So you have 6 lines of code in Glow, and these 6 lines of code spare you all kinds of attacks that you would have to deal with if you were writing them by hand in Solidity and JavaScript, or even to a point in Plutus and the contract is Haskell, Plutus and Haskell. Plutus and Haskell is much better than Solidity and JavaScript, but it's still lower levels than writing your thing in Glow. So Glow would be at the same level of abstraction, or slightly different, but same general level of abstraction as, for instance, Marlowe. So it's you're very removed from all the details of the network. You cannot write a network failure in Glow. There's no space for a network failure. But we generate all the code that will talk to the network, so you don't have to. So what happens if I compile that? Let's look at the compilation output. Here is from those 6 lines of code, we generate like 53 lines of pseudocode. And this pseudocode will run, there is a part that runs here, just signature. There's a part that runs on the consensus that everyone will run here. There's a part that runs only on the buyer's computer here. So this is the part that runs on the buyer's computer. And this is the part that runs only on the seller's computer. And these parts are slightly different, but we generate at the same time the contract, the client code for the buyer, and the client code for the seller. It's all generated from those 6 lines of code. And so these parts will remain in sync. There's no case where, I modify the contract a slightly bit and I forget to modify one of these. And then you lose all your money or something bad happens. No, this code, the code for the buyer, the code for the seller, and the code for the contract are always in sync by construction, and they always handle timeouts by construction. So all the usual failures disappear. And if we want to run it, let's run this code. So I have an integration test that runs it. And we are hitting a private blockchain. And for this private blockchain, so the first step is the buyer creates a contract at the first transaction. And the second step is the seller sees the handshake sent to him off chain by the buyer and decides, okay, this looks legit, so I'm going to generate and publish the signature. And this ends up being a transaction here sent to the blockchain. And at the end, this transaction gets published. There's a receipt. This is a transaction receipt. This transaction receipt, you have a log, a data log. And if you look at this data log, the first byte, except for the one, is a signature I'm looking for. And indeed, as a last step, the buyer will extract the signature from the blockchain and say, yeah, the money was sent, and the money couldn't have been sent without the signature being published. And yes, indeed, the signature is on the blockchain. So that's how it works. All this is taken care for you at the mystic cost of these six lines of code that you don't even have to write. Most people should not write Glow code. They should use the code generated by Glow. We will generate code for JavaScript and Bluetooth and whatever is for your blockchain. And you will not, some people will write Glow code, and those people who deal with key economic issues will need to write it, and they will be spared all the network and low-level problems. But most users will use these interactions, such as buying signature or playing whatever future contract you have, and that's how it goes. And some of this, of course, this interaction will be parameterized by whatever parameters make sense for your application at a higher level.
Got it. So this is well thought out, Fari, and I'm glad the demo, I've seen the demo prior as well, and this actually gives the audience an understanding of what it means, the abstraction layer means, and how you almost automate the attack, the trust versions of yes. running contracts. So great. So this is how we're thinking of interoperating. So why is this important? This is important because from a partner perspective, we see that Glow has something, they bring something to the Cardano community from what you've just seen. So figuring out how to get them to interoperate with our Goguen program and what's going to go on Cardano provides options for interoperability. And that's exactly where we're taking this. So I appreciate it, Francois. Appreciate that you came out here and have shown us the language, and I'm sure you'll be on more shows as we move further in the relationship around interoperability.
I just wanted to say that right now we are targeting the EVM virtual machine, and we can run on any EVM network. But we also have a prototype working in Bluetooth, and whenever Bluetooth comes out, we will run on Bluetooth too, and on any blockchain that will want us to run on it, or that anyone wants us to support, we will run. So portability, I think, is also a big plus, because we can abstract also the blockchain away from the dApp developer. The dApp developer will write their application once in Glow, or the critical part once in Glow. It will run on all the blockchain, and so they can choose the best. And my choice for the best is Cardano, but whoever the market chooses, you will be able to choose.
Perfect. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, so look, I mean, two really exciting partnerships, lots more momentum in terms of the smart contract and the developer outreach kind of areas. But I guess a lot of people are wondering, where does this fit in terms of timings and how things are rolling out?
Right. So native tokens is one approach. That and the ERC20 converter, that's rolling. Plutus Playground, that's another aspect. And I'm just kind of touching base with you guys on everything that's happening with the Goguen program. That's also, we'll see some exciting announcements on that this month. Marlow Playground going really well also with the feedback that we have received, and we're moving towards a Marlow for end users product really nicely. I've talked to the team on that. We're moving very smoothly on it. So we're looking at Q1 of next year for that as well.
Okay, so some more important activity around the Goguen rollout from both a tactical point of view and from a strategic point of view. And in fact, I understand that Charles will be sharing a little bit more information on all this activity very, very soon. So keep an eye out on his YouTube channel for more from Charles. Okay, so that's one type of collaboration that we've talked about. Maybe it's now time to turn to another type. So over at the Cardano Foundation, I talked to Jeremy recently about an interesting new collab that they're working on. So Goguen is all about bringing new utility to the Cardano blockchain, and that includes everything from partnerships, collaborations to new enterprise use cases. And joining me now is Jeremy Förster from the Cardano Foundation to share a little bit of news about a collaboration that we've recently announced. So Jeremy, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And just before we start, perhaps you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you came to the Cardano Foundation.
Thanks, Tim, and hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy Förster, and I have been living in Taiwan for the past 10 years, originally from the US. My professional background is primarily in corporate banking, where I covered large corporates and emerging markets. And since mid-2016, I transitioned more into blockchain space, as Taipei is a tech capital of the world. So I've had a great opportunity to meet many like-minded individuals and had chances to also serve as a government advisor on crypto policy issues and also adoption efforts for blockchain. Funny enough, back in early 2018, I actually promoted Cardano as a solution for political donations. So it's great that I could actually join the foundation earlier this year and be a part of the growth.
So perhaps you can tell us just a little bit about what are some of the parameters that you're looking at? What are some of the objectives you're looking at when striking fresh collaborations?
Yeah, our partnership strategy at the Cardano Foundation is really to showcase the economic utility to specific Cardano features. And we do this through having use cases which we believe have mass market appeal. And doing so, this demonstrates the values that an advanced public blockchain infrastructure enables. So transactional metadata is the first available feature where we've integrated this into a fully functional enterprise-grade product. We put specific attention on the use case because we want to show the greater value that is provided to end users. And a key mission of the foundation is to scale adoption of Cardano. So showing these valuable use cases through integrations with third parties is one way that we provide leadership to the greater Cardano community.
Okay, well, thank you. And look, very kindly, you've actually shot a short interview clip with Scantrust, who you're collaborating with. You and Mel from the CF spoke to them earlier, so let's roll that clip now.
I'm here today with Mel McCann, who leads technical integrations at Cardano Foundation, and we're joined by Ricardo Garcia, who is the head of partners and blockchain at Scantrust. How are you doing today, Ricardo?
I'm doing great. Based here in Berlin, the so-called blockchain capital of the world in some circles. It's a great day, but I'm doing great. So really excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to our exchange here today.
Thank you. Now, can you give everyone who's watching today a quick introduction into what Scantrust does and the values they provide to their clients?
Sure. So Scantrust was founded now 6 years ago in Switzerland, in Lausanne, where our headquarters is based, and have since then expanded all around the world. So we have a presence in Asia, in Europe, and have been doing projects all around the world. So by now we're active in around 130 countries. So there are active Scantrust QR codes in pretty much every continent around the world. And we have been focused on mainly 2 customer groups. So we have around 30 customers today. They're a combination of Fortune 2000 companies and small, medium enterprises in 2 verticals. The first one is fast-moving consumer goods, in particular beauty care, food and beverage, and luxury. And the second one is what we call industrial goods, which encompasses everything from automotive, chemicals, agrochemicals, precious metals, electronics, and more. And the value that we provide to customers, I usually describe it based on 3 pillars. So we, first of all, enable companies to protect their products against counterfeits. So we provide a special technology that I'll explain afterwards, which allows to verify if a product is genuine or fake. Second, we enable companies to track their products in the supply chain from the moment they're produced until they reach the end consumer. So we increase transparency in the supply chain. And last but not least, very importantly, since we are a QR code-based solution, we also enable consumer engagement. So we enable you to build a communication channel directly with your end consumer via the product. And the way we do this is with 2 things. First of all, we have developed a platform that allows you to generate a unique digital identity based on an individual QR code. And this QR code is printed on product packaging and is different for every single product. So not per SKU or per batch, but really for every single unit. So this gives the product a digital identity that is managed in our system across its entire life cycle. And the second element of the value and the system that we have is our patented method to make QR codes not only unique, but also copy-proof. And this is a method that we invented, which is a special graphic. We call it a secure graphic that is placed into the center of a QR code and then enables a consumer with his smartphone with a mobile app to verify that the product is indeed authentic.
That's great. Now, how is blockchain a part of your solution?
Sure. So we ourselves are not a blockchain-based solution, but blockchain is a technology that can be combined together with our system. So we look at ourselves as a provider of unique tamper-proof identifiers. So since our QR codes cannot be copied, they are a good tool to use as an onboarding mechanism to go from the physical world to the digital world. So usually we work in supply chains in use cases which are related to tracking assets. And what is important in that context is we have a blockchain which has an immutable audit trail about an asset's history, but at some point we will have to connect this digital audit trail to a physical product and uniquely identify the product. And this unique identification of the product is what we are able to provide, and which is also why, meanwhile, almost 4 years ago, we started getting more and more requests from blockchain companies and have actively positioned ourselves in that space.
And what then do you see special and different about the product that we've done together while you're using Cardano?
Yeah, so first of all, what's special about Cardano itself is that there were two factors that interested us. The first one is there's a very large and active ecosystem and community around it. And we really liked that because it shows us that there is a broad community supporting the protocol and that the protocol has a real chance of getting large-scale adoption. So that was one important factor. And the second one is that there was a metadata feature that was released recently that essentially allows to include metadata into transactions directly. And this is what we will be using for our integration to add asset-specific information into transactions on Cardano. And what is useful about that feature is since the information is linked to the transaction directly, it's a lot cheaper and easier compared to if we would, for instance, be using a blockchain that forces us to use smart contracts. So we use that, and what is unique about our integration is that we have put a lot of focus on independent verification of the data. So since the data will be sitting on a public blockchain, a user will theoretically have all the information available to himself verify that the information that is on the blockchain was indeed, if we take wine as an example, it was indeed uploaded by a wine company at a specific point in time and was verified by another authority at a specific point in time. And he can verify that this the claim that is in the blockchain is indeed correct.
Indeed. I believe that this open data practice kind of brings out more use cases for not only Cardano, but blockchain in general. So Mel, do you mind just going into more details on how we kind of confirm now that this is a tamper-proof on an end-to-end basis?
Sure. So from the Scantrust side, they have this tamper-proof QR code. And when we were building and designing this integration with Scantrust and Cardano, we wanted to ensure that the data is also tamper-proof. So we use SHA-256 hashes and digital signatures. The hashes, allow anybody publicly to go and verify that the data has not been modified in any way. And because the blockchain is immutable, that's always going to be the case. And then we also use the public signatures to provide attribution so they know who has signed the data. So Scantrust and their client can both digitally sign and prove that they verify that data is accurate. So I think the combination of ScanTrust and Cardano, the integration between the two, brings together the excellence that we offer in the blockchain industry and the excellence that they offer in their industry. And I think it's been an absolute pleasure working together, and I'm excited about the future together.
That's right.
Absolutely.
This is just the first step, was with transactional metadata. As more features of Cardano are released, that brings out more opportunities for integration with the ScanTrust product offering. So Ricardo, thank you for joining us today, and enjoy the gray skies.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, and look forward to continuing our work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. Great to hear more about that interesting project, and hopefully the first of a number, I hope.
Absolutely. Once more features of Cardano become available, there will be a lot more announcements made in this front. And one of the keys here that we look at is driving the market infrastructure surrounding Cardano, because the best way that Cardano will get in the hands of everyone is in integrations and different aspects of the market.
Jeremy, that's great. Thank you very much for joining us.
All right, so Tim, that was a pretty good conversation with Jeremy, and it's good to see that we're firing on all cylinders when it comes to utility and finding those partnerships from the CF, from our team, and also from our commercial teams as well. So now kind of pivoting to an event that's happening in December, the Hard Fork Combinator event, and this is for token locking. And we're bringing back our favorite guy, Kevin, and Tim, you caught up with him to give us the deets on that.
So, Kevin, welcome back on the show. We've got another Hard Fork Combinator event coming up, haven't we? What's happening?
Yeah, well, hey, in some sense, not very much, Tim, because just like the Byron Shelley transition, it's going to go very, very smoothly. We promise. We've been working very, very hard behind the scenes, developing and deploying the fantastic Hard Fork Combinator event to make sure that the process is as easy and smooth as possible for the stake pool operators, for the Cardano network, and for the regular ADA holders, of course. But seriously, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rolling forward the protocol version. At the moment, we're running protocol version 2.0, which is we've codenamed Shelley. What we'll be doing in the upcoming Hard Fork event is to roll forward to the next Hard Fork version. This is version 3.0, codenamed Allegra, and that is going to introduce a new feature called token locking. That's going to be the major thing that we'll be doing. From our perspective, this is a really big deal because we've done the Hard Fork once live on Cardano, and we've shown we can do it. What we're now doing is to get to a stage where not only have we shown we can do it, but we're going to show that we can do it again and again and again. So to make that happen, we've had to generalize internally some of the mechanisms that we had put in place just for Byron Shelley. And now we're in a situation where we're confident that we can just do this on a regular basis. So whenever there are new things that need to be introduced, new features, we can just say, okay, there's a hard fork coming up. We're ready for it. Press the button. Off we go.
So just to be clear, the word hard fork often fills people with dread and fear because generally hard forks are not a good thing. But the whole point is here, we've created technology that allows us to fork the network with minimal disruption to everybody. That's basically it, isn't it?
That's basically it. So what the Hard Fork Combinator does is essentially to allow a smooth transition from one protocol version to the next protocol version. And as you're saying, in most blockchains, this is a traumatic event because everything has to stop. You have to recreate the chain from the beginning using the new protocol. And only once you've done that and everyone's synchronized can you start running again. In contrast, what the Hard Fork Combinator does is to keep the network running during this transition and to extend the original chain history with the new blocks that are minted after the protocol has changed. And of course, the real complication is that during this transitional period, you could have some stake pools trying to produce blocks according to the old protocol, some producing blocks according to the new protocol, and you've magically got to create a chain that synthesizes blocks correctly from both these kinds of operator, and that's where the magic comes in.
So let's maybe just dig a little bit into token locking itself. Now, we're talking elsewhere in the show about metadata, which was really the first piece of sort of non-transactional utility, which we've deployed on Cardano. This is the next bit, isn't it? Token locking. What does token locking do, and how will it bring kind of new use cases?
So fundamentally, what we're doing with token locking, Tim, is to put a hold on a specific token for a period of time. So what we've got is a form of time locking where a record is made that a particular token is being held for some purpose. So this doesn't prevent you from staking the token. It doesn't prevent you from disposing the token if you wish. But what it does mean is that if the token isn't held by the user for a period of time, then that fact becomes known, and you can use this then to trigger conditional contracts of various kinds. So one example might be to do with purchasing a house or other property. What you might do is enter into a contract with some other party where they agree to buy your house. You agree to sell them the house. You haven't sold them the house today. That's going to happen at some point in the future. And of course, if you then sell the house to a third party, the contract is going to be void. And there may, of course, then be some penalties associated with breaking the contract. So what token locking does is to essentially create that representation that says this thing is not going to be disposed of. It's going to be held for this period of time and is then available to fulfill the contract when it becomes due.
So it's a kind of a fundamental building block for smart contracts of all types, and I guess ultimately sort of non-fungible tokens as well, and that kind of thing.
That's right. It's a key piece of core technology for all kinds of smart contracts. It's a relatively small piece of technology. It's obviously not everything we want to do with smart contracts. There's going to be more exciting things coming up in the very near future with multi-asset tokens, with full Plutus scripting. We're rolling this out now because we have a need for it to enable part of the Cardano governance mechanism.
Which, of course, is the Project Catalyst voting, which this is going to enable.
That's right. So this will enable the Project Catalyst voting. So the way that's going to work is, as I've just described, ADA holders will be able to lock their tokens during a voting period. Now, crucially, that doesn't mean they can't spend them, dispose of them. All it means is that secures their voting rights as long as they continue to hold those votes. So they're making a promise that they'll hold the votes. If they don't, so they'll hold the tokens, the ADA. If they don't hold the ADA for the voting period, then the voting is not going to be counted. Their votes are not going to be counted. And this has a number of important effects for the voting system as a whole. So it means that you can't double count a vote. You can't vote twice on the same issue, either in the same way or in different ways. It means that votes cannot be transferred. You can't buy votes. Various types of common issues are just completely eliminated by this mechanism. So if only we'd had this in place about a month ago, Tim, then all the American public would have had to do would be to buy ADA, and then they could have voted directly on their presidential choice without any of the kerfuffle that we've seen, without any of the legal process, because ADA would have guaranteed it.
Maybe we've got another chance in 4 years, Kevin. Let's look
That's
forward
right.
to that maybe. So look, I understand at the moment that this protocol update is in internal testing. It's in internal QA testing at the moment. Perhaps just walk us briefly through the next steps and when we can expect the hard fork combinator event to happen.
Yeah, so the first stage, as you're saying, Tim, it's to go. We're going through our full QA processes. This is happening at the moment. So initial testing, testing on an internal testnet simulating the real world environment. At the same time, we're also testing scalability of the system before we deploy it. Once we're happy that everything is working absolutely perfectly, once people other than the developers have gone through the hard fork event and confirmed that it works under a variety of real-world circumstances, then we'll be in a position to move this on to the Cardano testnet, standard Cardano testnet. Stake pool operators can try that out there. In fact, anyone can try it out there. You can all check that what we're saying is true. We'll progress through some hard fork there, and you'll be able to try out all the new commands that we have available. Now, this is technically a relatively simple feature. There aren't going to be many changes, in fact, to the commands that are available to the operators. So we think the process is going to go pretty smoothly, and essentially it's just providing a bit of a check, a bit of verification, letting people familiarize themselves with the code. So we should be ready to go very soon after we deploy the testnet on the mainnet, Tim. We're not going to have the same extended period that we had with Shelley. The reason we had such a long period with Shelley was to give people a chance to engage early on with all the new commands, to become familiar with the process of staking delegation, setting up and running a stake pool, etc. All that is just going to carry forward. Here we're just adding in the token locking operation itself. So really you don't need to spend so much time on that as we did before.
And all happening right now and over the next
happening right now.
2 to 3 weeks. Yeah,
over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Be prepared for it.
Fantastic. Kevin, thanks very much for joining us.
Great. Bye, Tim.
Okay, so another packed show, Aparna. We talked about Goguen. We talked about those devnets coming up. And actually, let's just remind everybody, if you've got experience working in the Solidity space or indeed any other language and you feel you want to get involved in those devnets projects, we're sharing a link right now for a type form. So please do get in touch with us. Let us know what you're interested in and where your expertise lies, and we'll see how we can involve you in that program going forwards. We've got the hard fork combinator event coming up with the token locking. We've got our pre-production environments. Lots happening all during the course of this month, and we've got another show on the 17th as well. So do tune in for that. We'll have some more news, some more updates. A couple of things just to highlight. We'll have a bit of an update on Africa. Lots of conversations, lots of questions out there around Africa. So we've sat down with John O'Connor, our head of African operations, just to give us a bit more of a strategic overview of what the last year in Africa has brought and what we can kind of expect into 2021 as well. So tune in for that next show. And secondly, we don't stop here. We've done Shelley, we're doing Goguen, we're doing a bit of Voltaire with the voting and the catalyst voting coming up. Next on the list is Basho. So we'll also have an update on Hydra and where things are going as we're starting to move out of the conceptual phase into the development phase. I think that's about it for today, isn't it, Aparna?
It sure is. Great to see everybody. Thank you. And tune in next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Well, hello. That was the Goguen recap update, December 3rd, Cardano monthly update. So I'm going to do a real quick recap, and then I'll take some questions, and then we'll hop off here for the day. It's the premiere thing. Well, let me unfull screen this. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about earlier, we were all like a little bit confused about specifically, let me put the chat over here. Okay. We were all confused about one thing. Okay. So IOHK Media made this post, and it kind of cleared things up for me, you know? Okay, so we were talking about KVM Devnet and then the IELE Devnet. And this is what they are, right? This was a good tweet, so thank you, IOHK Media. I think Tim might be the one who runs this. So today we're announcing 2 new developer environments for Cardano, the KVM Devnet and the IELE Devnet, which will allow developers to write and deploy and test smart contracts for Cardano. Our KEVM Devnet will allow developers deploying existing or future Ethereum-based applications on Cardano, so over 140,000 plus smart contracts will be compatible with the Cardano blockchain. That's pretty crazy. As you can tell, it's already got 147 likes, and the second tweet has more likes than the first tweet. That's hilarious. The IELE Devnet will be the first large-scale beta testnet to allow non-blockchain developers to start building smart contracts on Cardano without needing to learn a blockchain-specific programming language. So I think that's going to be a little bit like Marlowe, right? Because that's kind of what Marlowe is it's a way for financial people to be able to write these smart contracts without knowing how to code, right? So I guess we're going to have something else, the IELE Devnet, so that's pretty cool. But the KEVM thing is what I'm most excited about. The fact that it'll allow developers to deploy existing or future Ethereum-based applications. So 400 or 140,000. It's pretty crazy, I must admit. So how are you guys all doing today? You have any questions? Yep, Charles is coming on in an hour. I guess no Charles today. Charles did upload a whiteboard video today, so no Charles at the end of this, unfortunately. I'm hoping on-chain governance is a good idea. I know the average Cardano user is smarter than most, but my faith in democracy has taken a hit in recent years. Yeah, I know where you're coming from, man. Steven says Charles at noon, Charles at 21. Yeah, we all live around the world here. Talk about hard fork if possible. Okay, that's no problem. All right, so let's do a little recap on all the stuff we've seen today. So Goguen native tokens, that's one of the things I'm most excited for. I want to see how it works, right? Because the way you get tokens in Ethereum is through smart contracts, but Cardano is allowing tokens to be native, which is really interesting. And the testnet, the native token testnet is coming on the 7th. I'm not sure if everybody's allowed to participate or if you have to be invited specifically. Like I was a part of the Shelly Friends and Family testnet. Hopefully they'll let me in there so I can give you guys some info. I'll start making some coins. I need some more practice, so it'd be a great time for me to get in now. Then also the many different languages, right? I think I saw like 6 to 8 languages. So you have Plutus, which is essentially a specialized version of Haskell to write in. And then you have Marlowe, which we talked about earlier, is kind of the financial contract one. You don't have to be a programmer to learn how to use them. I've seen it before. It's like little puzzle pieces that you put together to write the contract. They also said Marlowe's going really well. They said more updates about that's going to be happening at the end of the month. We talked about the other 2 languages, 2 of them that we saw, the KVM and then the IELE. And then, so the hard fork combinator. So we're going to get a hard fork combinator event very soon. I'm very happy to hear that this is coming because they have been talking about this, and they said, I think it was either a month ago. I think it was a month ago at the end of November. Or the beginning of November, they stated that there would be a hard fork combinator event in December, and that would be token locking. Another hard fork combinator event in February, and that would be native assets. So what's really cool is the fact that they're saying the hard fork combinator for token locking is going to be coming this month, which is very important because that means the native asset, will hopefully be coming in February, which is, I'm sure most of us are excited for. And then at the same time, the reason we need token locking is for Voltaire, right? So we had a hard fork combinator event a few months ago, and that hard fork combinator event was for metadata. And what metadata is it's just a way to, all right, let's start at square one here, right? So you have a block, and within that block is data, and the data in that block is transactions, right? So what metadata is data, text that you can save inside the block, right? Within the transaction. So all you really do is you write a transaction, and within that transaction, you reference a metadata file. And that metadata file is a JSON file. And you can put like hashes in there. And what I mean by a hash is like an argument with a it's like a box with a name on it, right? So you have a name, and that's a hash. So the name will be YouTube channel, and then the answer to that will be Big Pay, right? So essentially what you can do with that is you can put vote 1 equals the Cardano Aura podcast, right? So that's the first step to Voltaire, is having these metadata transactions. Very important. The second step to Voltaire is token locking, right? Because you have to lock up your token to vote. I think the vote lasts a week. So what would happen if there was no token locking? What would happen is you guys, because you love the Cardano Aura podcast, I'm just kidding. I hope you guys like it. But since you love the Cardano Aura podcast, what you would do is you would vote with your ADA, and then you would send it to a different wallet, and then vote with your ADA again, and then send it to a different wallet, and then vote with your ADA again. So to stop that, you have to have token locking. And what's going to happen is after you vote, your ADA is going to lock up for a week. You're still going to earn staking rewards. You're going to earn rewards for voting, but you're not going to be able to vote twice, right? Which is very important, you know. Yeah, that's really the big recap. I hope that's a good explanation of metadata and token locking. They also said the hard fork combinator is going to be seamless, which is really interesting. I'm happy to hear that, but I hope that was kind of a good little recap. I can answer a few questions and then we can get off here. I also want to say thank you for everyone that did the super chats, and also thank you for Alien Stake Pool for sponsoring this video. I mean, it means the world, man. I was going to say YouTube doesn't pay much, but with all the super chats, it did today, you know. But normally YouTube pays me about $5 or $10 per video. So really, really appreciate it, Alien Stake Pool, for sponsoring this video. And also thank you for the Cardano Pizza Challenge for giving all those super chats, man. He had a $125 super chat, and then I think another 100. Or I think it was another 50 or something. I'll be able to see it afterwards. But Sangan said, how many hard fork combinator events have already happened? That's a good question, man. As far as I know, 2. I know the Shelley hard fork combinator event, and then the token lock, or the metadata, but I'm not sure if the metadata was within the Shelley. So at least 1, maybe 2. Anthony said, Bitcoin solved the double spending issue, Cardano solved the voting issue. Yeah, with token locking. I've seen voting before with a couple of the DeFi projects, right? I think Uni has its own voting thing. I've seen some stuff on Binance too, but Uni have more respect there, but, you know, Binance is kind of still centralized. Even though it's a decentralized exchange, you know, it's still centralized because they own most of the tokens. So, Ifalani said, where's my shirt, bruh? We'll send you a shirt, man. Just make sure you join. I've been meaning to do this more often. I never plug my Twitter. Okay, so please follow me on Twitter. I'll give out a shirt. You just have to follow me on Twitter. Ifalani, I'll give you one. All you have to do is follow me on Twitter and join the Discord server and send me a DM. And then when you send me a DM, Ifalani, I will send you your shirt. Razi said, is there going to be another update later this month? This is going to be another update on December 17th. I saw you did follow me, Dev Pryor. I appreciate that. CT the car guy, I want a shirt. I'll send you a shirt, man. Just DM me on Discord. I posted the link. Sugar Zoo said token locking is not only for your ERC, or not only for voting, but also for interoperability for ERC20 converter. Yeah, but I think that's kind of for switching to the ETH, right? I think that was kind of like, so if you're going to lock something on the Cardano chain, I think that's for taking something from Cardano to Ethereum or to any other network, right? Because why else would you want to lock something on Cardano if you're moving something over? So I don't really think it's for the converter, but it is for interoperability. I mean, maybe it is for the converter if you're converting it from Ethereum to, or from ADA to Ethereum. Good statement though, Sugar Zeus. I appreciate it. Patrick Carr said, great watch party, Pay. 5K. We did it. 5,000 subscribers. It's crazy. I really do appreciate all the support. Connor said, what are you most excited for in the next 5 to 10 years? Blockchain, man. Blockchain. That's what I'm most excited for. I'm just excited for the further adoption and further usability of blockchain technology. You know, I'm excited to see where this all goes, and there's just so many great minds in this space that 5 years from now is going to look completely different, and I'm looking forward to it. Mr. Plumber said, hello! What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. If you guys want me to do another watch party on the 17th, I can do that. Congrats on 10K subs. I'm not there yet. Halfway there. If you guys want me to do another one on the 17th, we can do that. I normally just like to do these for the summits, but I think we're in some exciting times right now with the Goguen. So, yeah, next is 10K. You're already there, Kaizen. You've been there for a minute, man. Real proud of you. I think you're the first Cardano only YouTuber to hit, or content creator. I hate saying the word YouTuber. Content creator to hit 10K subs. It's pretty awesome. But if you want me to do this, just spam yes in chat, and then I will answer his question about the ERC20, or not the ERC, the native tokens, and then I'm going to hop off here. I do have a video coming later today, though. The video coming later today will essentially be a too long don't read of this, so we'll have to check that one out. Or I wish you guys would check that one out. Why am I already brain dead? I have so much more work to do. All right, so let me go to IOG. I guess they're IOHK on YouTube. So I want to show you a little slide that they had about these native tokens, and I think that'll help you better understand. Okay. So let me come back over here. All right. So can you write? Yeah. So how do native tokens? Oh, this is not the right one. This will help. This will help for sure. Okay. So feature. You have ADA on the left side, and you have native tokens on the right. I got to check the chat and make sure you guys are spamming yes. Or if you're not spamming yes. Spam no if you want to watch it yourself. Getting a lot of yeses. We might do another one. Thank you for the super chat, Cardano Pizza Challenge. ADA is going for number 1, man. Big shout out to the Cardano Pizza Challenge. You've sent a lot of super chats, man. It's been awesome. I'm gonna do a pizza live stream. Mr. Plumber said, what's the red balloon news? It's all the dev tools. We have 6 to 8 different languages coming to Cardano. That's the red balloon. Okay. All right. So back to this. Native tokens. All right. So ADA feature can be sent in transactions. So obviously you can send. So a native token is a token that's native to the Cardano protocol, right? Whereas on Ethereum, they don't feel so native because they're smart contracts, right? And you have to know a lot about Ethereum to kind of understand this, but we're going to know a lot more about this as we get more of these updates and as I become more knowledgeable about it. So can be kept in UTXO outputs. So both, right? And these are the similarities between ADA and native tokens. So what you're doing here is you're saying, okay, so think about the usability of ADA. Well, the native tokens for each checkmark is going to have the same thing. So can be locked with script outputs, right? So both ADA, both native token. So that means there could be native token kind of governance, voting with another token. So for example, here's a crazy idea, right? Let's say I got into this early test net. I learned how to create a Bloom token. And within that Bloom token, I decided that Bloom loves all the supporters. So what we're going to do is we're going to design a token that's going to be called the Bloom token. And with the Bloom token, I'm going to give you guys, like, let's say 5 or 10 different options on what you can actually spend the Bloom token on, right? And then if you have the locked using script outputs, what that allows you to do is lock up that token for voting. So we could essentially have Bloom votes, right? On maybe rewards for having the tokens or rewards for staking the Bloom tokens, So that's what that means. That's pretty cool. So ADA can be sent to an exchange address, and native tokens can also be sent to an exchange address. That's very important, but that's kind of given though. To me, that's essentially saying that you can send ADA to an exchange address the same way you could ERC20, right? Because if you have like BAT, for example, BAT is an ERC20 token. You can send BAT to an exchange. I say BAT weird. I'm like very, very aggressive with it. So you send that to an exchange and then it'll accept it, right? And you can trade it. So it's very important that both tokens have that, because then the native tokens are essentially just going to be useless, right? Because you can't sell them, you can't buy them, unless you're using something on chain, which is cool. So ADA can be minted. No, right? We already have the scheme for ADA. We already have the reward scheme, so it can't be minted. but native tokens you can. And what they're saying by that is I can mint balloon tokens, and you can probably mint another token, but you can't mint ADA, you know. So can be used to pay fees and receive rewards. So ADA can be used to pay fees and then pay the fees for receiving your rewards, right? So this is very interesting. I need more information on this, but I always thought that you would be able to pay your fees in the native tokens, right? Isn't that kind of what makes them native, you know? So ADA is the only thing that you can pay fees with and receive rewards, and it can be used to cover the minimum UTXO value, right? So you can't do that with native tokens. So really the only thing different from an ADA token and a native token is the fact that you can use ADA as gas, right? A way to pay your fees for sending these native tokens back and forth. So that's the more information on native tokens. I hope that helps. And I'll read some of these real quick. Jeff Bragg said, paying fees with native tokens is something they have talked about doing eventually. Okay, so it's eventually. Yeah, I've heard them say that a million times, and I've heard people say, oh, Cardano is going to be better because we can use native tokens to pay the fees. So that's why it was weird to see that all up front. Patrick said, that's crazy. 6 to 8 different languages. I struggle with French. Yeah. For sure, man. Well, what's really cool about having so many different languages is that often certain languages specialize in a certain thing, right? So it's nice to kind of give devs a bunch of different options, and devs will specialize when given those options, right? DK said, so Ethereum people could use Cardano as gas fees. That's not true. Essentially, we're going to use ADA. So say you have Ethereum, like ETH, we'll call it wrapped ETH on the Cardano blockchain. You'll be able to send that using ADA on the Cardano blockchain. So, yep, that's the watch party. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll have another video coming out tonight. Make sure you tune into that. But I really appreciate all the support, man. I had a lot of fun today. It was awesome. I love doing these watch parties. I may do another one on the 17th. Seems like you guys are all interested in it. And yeah, we'll do the same thing. So, had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for the support. Also, thank you to Alien Stake Pool for sponsoring this video. It means the world. Also, thank you for the Cardano Pizza Challenge for sending those super chats. So, thanks. You guys have a good day. Happy Goguen. Happy token locking. It's here. Yeah, Dev Prior video coming later today. Jesus, I can't even talk. No problem, man. No problem streaming. I had a lot of fun. I really did.